So I finally finished and completed this book. Just finished it about 5 minutes ago, and I think it was a good, simple read. It talks a lot about family, how much she loves her son, and loves her husband, and being in the spotlight. There were some few disturbing things that I found a little disturbing, as far as her mother getting plastic surgery, which was kind of, I thought, because I remember watching the Hugh Hefner Playboy Mansion episode many years ago, and I saw just a quick clip of it. And it was when it was being aired, my early 20s, I think it was. And I remember her mother got really infatuated with like fame and was like wanting plastic surgery, and all like the playgirls were all like trying to tell her Hugh Hefner told her so she was beautiful the way that she is, and shouldn't ever think of that, because I think that is probably coming from a place of people that get infatuated with fame, which has happened to many singers and actors and whatnot, but that's going to the extremes. But other than that, I can see it's a great family book where there's problems with mother and father and wanting the best for her family, and I thought that this was a pretty good read. It's pretty simple, not too complicated. I thought the person was probably, I'm not sure how the writers or how they're trying to sell the book, but I have sort of these other opinions of how they structurally want to pitch the idea to try to sell a book and have this sort of persona as a person that sells to people, market to people, because you also want to retain a lot of your own privacy, because you want to sell that, because you want to keep a piece of yourself. It's kind of like how actors act on a studio set, and they really don't save anything for the relationships when it comes to all this emotional stuff and their expressions. But I don't know anything about that world other than being shamed really bad. So, yeah, I thought this was a great read. It's pretty old, and I'm not entirely, don't know the story of her husband, what goes on with that, but to me it sounds like, from what interviews I've seen and the things that she said even prior to reading this book, he didn't fit the criteria of someone that would do that to his family, and he doesn't, but you never know people. Don't take my word for it, like I said. And I thought that, it gets inside of what her life is, and with her husband and her kids, but she definitely is really adored by her child. I mean, she loves her child a lot, and really repeats that very frequently. But, being in a superstar, NFL husband, and 18 years old in Playboy Mansion, and having a sex tape and all that other stuff that goes on, cameras and flashing lights and glamour. Yeah, finish this book. Hopefully it helps me. I got 2 other books I'm going to be reading. One is Mariah Carey's The Meaning of Mariah Carey, and then the other one is Fez. I don't remember his name, but it talks about his Hispanic culture and upbringing in Venezuela, and he's Fez, the guy that used to play on the '70s shows that has all those really good dancing moves, and talks about, I just saw a quick video introduction about his book, so I thought I'd pick it up. But they're all related to family. They're sort of family books. They talk about the ups and downs and some of the things they went through. Kendra said she was out of her house at 18 years old, and in the drug world. And I was in that drug world myself. I lived at my house in a 3-bedroom house, and I was late 15 years old, early 16 years old. And I lived there for about 2 years all by myself. And how I can relate to this, to how her life is that when you have a lot of things, and you have a house, and you have these nice things that other people don't have, they want to either take possession of that or want to take control of that and use it for themselves. Because the truth is, if you were living in a car, you were living anywhere else, many of these friends wouldn't be your friend anymore. And I knew exactly what that's like. People just offering free drugs, and people just really wanting to use you in any way. They really don't care about much about your life. So I know what that sort of, I can relate that. I DJ for a while, so I understand that pretty well when it comes to sort of interacting and trying to get that sort of notoriety and approval and success in your life. To some people it came early, and for me it didn't. And with dignity, but like I said, beautiful girl, and wish, like I said, I have my own, I guess, sort of ideas on how the structural selling of this book. Sometimes I think to myself of how they wrote this book. I don't know if she actually wrote this book herself, like actually typed it up, but it's, I guess, with the help of Gerard Shapiro, which I'm not sure how writers are. Like, I think they call them ghost writers, where celebrities, they don't have the academics to really write a full book and paragraph it and chapter it all entertaining and make it and sell it to people. So they use ghost writers, where you tell them all your information, you tell them all your life, and then they sort of brainstorm, write these chapters and paragraphs, and then they write it for you, and then they say, okay, I wrote a memoir about my life, and it really isn't the expressions of how they actually would have said it had they wrote it. But like I said, it's just a book, memoir, and it's the first book. So the other two books I'm reading is family-oriented, ups and downs, the celebrity world, and it's a little bit of a mixture of different cultures, backgrounds. So, hopefully I'll finish the other books just as fast. But reading this, because it also helps me academically understand my reading abilities, to how well, when I take this test, or if I do GED, then I'll be able to complete it. Reminds me, because I used to read books all the time. I used to read like a book a month or every couple of weeks. I was going to say, it was about a month. Once a month, I used to read R.L. Stine Goosebump books, and it was real famous when I was a kid. I used to read those books all the time. My mom, a few times I go to the bookstore, and she's like, "Oh, I'll buy you a book a month. You just keep reading." And I did like 5, 6 different books, and but anyway, it's a book full of information, and so like I said, it just, for my overall opinion, it just gives more insight to whatever it is about their life, that other things they have to talk about. You can kind of add some colors and some understanding to what and how they got to where they were, and how they are, or where it is they're likely to do later in the future. And understand an overall picture, but this is one of 1,000 celebrities. I don't know. I've followed the story for a little bit with her husband and her family, and everything that went on with that transgender, and it just sounded like a total nightmare. I mean, it was just like the worst of nightmares a mother, if a girl like that go through. But he didn't seem like he fits that character. But you never know. I mean, show up in a world, and you never know. You really don't ever know with people and what their intentions are. But it's pretty wild. But like I said, this is just a book, a small portion of someone's life. So finished the book. Got this book about 5-6 days ago. I finished this book less than a week. It was a total of 223 pages, and 225 pages, and acknowledgement, appreciation.